He'll be dead in a few minutes.
I'll see you next month.
Today we will recap a 2024 movie titled Absolution. Please be aware that there will be spoilers ahead. In the first scene, we meet an elderly man named Thug. Thug is shown to be the right-hand guy of the city's most powerful mafia boss. Soon after, Thug receives a call from his boss instructing him to collect protection money from a fish vendor. Thug rushes to the location. Thug appears, accompanied by the boss's son, Kyle. During the event, Thug shows Kyle how to properly demand money and intimidate others. After successfully collecting payment from the fish vendor, Thug and Kyle return to the mob headquarters to pass over the money to Charlie, the mafia boss. Thug urges Charlie against incorporating Kyle into their business, arguing that Kyle is not suited to the mafia lifestyle. Charlie responds, explaining that he wants Kyle to become a lawyer instead. Kyle, on the other hand, rejects this notion and instead opts to follow in his father's footsteps, intending to stay in the mafia. Thug subsequently tells Charlie that he has been experiencing frequent and severe headaches. Concerned, Charlie recommends that he consult a doctor, reminding him that he is no longer young. Instead of going to the doctor, Thug enters a boxing gym after leaving the headquarters. He's been boxing at this club since he was a child, so he knows the coach and the other members. At that point, the instructor announces that he has a new student and invites Thug to spar. Thug happily accepts, since he enjoys boxing. However, his physical condition is no longer as good as it once was, and he is routinely outmatched by the new student. That evening, Thug goes to a nightclub to chill. While relaxing, he notices a couple fighting nearby. Irritated, he approaches them and tells them to stop fighting in the club. The man, playing tough, challenges Thug, sparking a violent altercation. The woman from the dispute, identifying herself as Anna, approaches Thug after he leaves. She begs Thug to take her home. Thug, feeling bad for her, agrees. When they arrive at Anna's place, she gives him a drink as a gesture of gratitude. Unexpectedly, the two became close. Thug then wonders whether Anna's ex-boyfriend will come looking for her. Anna tells him that it is unlikely, explaining that they split up a long time ago and that the prior disagreement was over a loan she was attempting to collect from him. Thug feels relieved and requests another intimate encounter with the next day. Thug gets a call from Charlie, who tells him to go to a specific clinic and demand protection money. He says that every business in his jurisdiction is required to pay monthly fees, and failure to do so will result in the demise of their company. Thug appears at the clinic shortly thereafter and meets with the doctor to collect the funds. While there, he recalls his headaches and decides to see a doctor about his problem. When the doctor hears about the situation, he says the clinic's equipment is insufficient and suggests he contact a specialist. Thug follows the advice and goes to a local expert for a checkup. Following a medical examination, the specialist doctor determines Thug has chronic traumatic encephalopathy, a brain disease common among boxers and football players. Thug first remains cool, assuming that the condition is solely the result of his violent past. When Thug inquires about a remedy, the physician informs him that no treatment is now available for the ailment. The doctor also informs him that 99% of people with this illness don't live more than 3 months. As a result, she advises Thug to draw closer to God and pray for a miracle, as well as to inform his wife and child of his illness so that they may prepare in case his condition worsens abruptly. Thug goes silent, stunned by the news that he could only have 3 months to live. On his way home, Thug stops by the beach. He puts his gun to his mouth, contemplating the unspeakable. However, he notices a toddler watching him from distance. Thug recalls having a daughter, whom he had abandoned many years ago. Thug decides against acting rashly and intends to meet his daughter the next day. The following day, Thug pays a visit to his daughter Daisy. He begins by apologizing for not visiting her for so long. Daisy asks sarcastically why Thug has come, given that he has been pretending she doesn't exist for years. Their conversation reveals the strain on their relationship caused by the death of Thug's wife, Daisy's mother. Daisy appears to blame Thug for her mother's death, citing his involvement with the mob. Thug immediately says that he has to discuss something important about his condition. He invites Daisy to dinner at an Italian restaurant 2 days later to talk about the problem. Daisy's middle school-aged son interrupts their conversation. Thug meets his grandson for the first time and greets him with affection. That night, Thug had a dream about his father. Thug is on a small boat in the middle of the ocean with his father when he had the dream. Thug asks where they're going, and his response is that he's taking Thug to a lovely spot. Thug awakens moments later, and the dream reinforces his belief that time is running out. The following day, Thug and Anna go for a park walk. Anna has become more comfortable with Thug and believes they may marry. Thug then invites Anna to an Italian restaurant the following evening, stating he wants her to meet his daughter, Daisy. Anna is excited about the opportunity to meet Thug's family. Later that day, Charlie asks Thug to deliver a container truck to his associate, Alex. However, Thug is not alone, Kyle is with him. During the cruise, Kyle inquires about the contents of the parcel, to which Thug responds that he has no idea because they are always forbidden from opening the shipments. As a result, Kyle decides not to pursue the situation further and continues his quest. When Thug arrives at Alex's, they open the truck. Thug is surprised to learn that the truck includes kidnapped women who have been sold to Alex's brothel. One of the women, with curly hair, pleads for his help, but Thug is powerless to intervene. That night, Thug has another dream about seeing his father. Thug is back in the middle of the ocean in his dream, as he was before. This time, the curly-haired woman from the container emerges, rising from the sea and crying for help. Thug's father then delivers a message appealing with him to save the woman. When Thug wakes up, he thinks long and hard about whether he should atone for his earlier sins before time runs out. The following morning, Thug decides to pay Alex a visit at his brothel. Thug persuades Alex of his intentions by claiming to select a woman to meet his demands. Alex then introduces other women, including the curly-haired one. As a result, Thug immediately chooses her and takes her to a private room. Once inside, Thug reveals his true intention, to rescue her. The woman, on the other hand, reveals that Thug must give Alex $20,000 in order to release her. Thug decides to return home first to get the necessary monies. Thug is on his way home when Charlie calls and asks him to collect a protection fee from a priest. Thug, on the other hand, recognizes that the priest is a drug dealer hiding behind his title. Thug soon drives to the priest's location, where he is parked in a box truck by the wayside. Thug enters the truck and demands money. Without resistance, the priest passes over the money. However, as the priest emerges from the van, 3 shooters attack. Thug answers immediately, returning fire and killing 2 of the attackers, while seriously injuring the third. Soon after, Thug interrogate the remaining gunmen about who sent them and why they chose to target the priest. Without a choice, the gunman explains that the true objective was Thug, but they mistakenly shot the priest. The gunman further reveals that the command came from a large man with a spider tattoo around his neck. Thug, worried, hurries back to headquarters to notify Charlie of the situation. Thug returns to the headquarters and hands the money gathered while narrating the attack. Thug feels the attackers are working for Charlie's business rivals and may be seeking to seize their territory. However, Charlie assures Thug that he will thoroughly investigate the situation and advises him to return home and relax. Later that afternoon, Thug visits Anna's house to pick her up for their dinner at an Italian restaurant with Daisy. Because it is still early, Anna proposes that they spend some quality time together before leaving. They then get ready and proceed to the restaurant. When they get at the restaurant, Thug and Anna order drinks while waiting for Daisy. Daisy has not arrived after an hour, which has made Thug furious. At the same time, a waiter approaches their table and asks them to leave since they have been waiting too long with only a few orders. Anna quickly convinces Thug to leave to avoid any unpleasantness. The next morning, while Thug is sleeping, Anna meets with Daisy and tells her the truth about her father. Thug hears them and becomes upset that Daisy knows, threatening to harm Anna in front of Daisy and Dre. Anna and Dre leave the house, and Daisy scolds her father, stating she didn't deserve it. Daisy reveals she stood him up since he had abandoned them their entire lives. However, after realizing that there is little chance for therapy, Daisy offers to assist him in finding a new doctor if he wishes. Thug experiences a panic episode, smacking his skull and calling himself an idiot. He starts punching the walls until his hands bleed, enraged and ashamed of himself. The next morning, Daisy and Dre are packing up the house when Thug arrives and requests to speak with Dre. Thug struggles over his words, but eventually apologizes for his actions and tells Dre in no uncertain terms to emulate him. "Don't be like me," Thug advises. Dre listens silently before walking down the corridor away from him. Thug goes to Charlie's office that night with the intention of asking for a $40,000 loan, $20,000 to buy Araceli's freedom, and $20,000 to give to his daughter as a down payment on a house. As his memory deteriorates, he practices his words repeatedly. When he steps off the elevator, he notices that Kyle and Charlie have a new enforcer. When Charlie arrives at his workstation, he is instructed to take a seat. Charlie tells him he spoke with Dr. Gruber and Thug inquired about his health. Thug tries to downplay the situation, but Charlie tells him he's fired. Thug protests, insisting he is okay and that he took care of those 3 assassins. Charlie asks Thug for his phone number and address, but he cannot. Charlie orders him to leave, and Kyle aggressively inquires if he wants instructions to the door. Thug rushes up to depart, only to discover that the enforcer has a spider web tattoo on his neck, just as the killer at the ambush had stated. He then knocks the man out and draws his revolver. Thug confronts Kyle and Charlie, pointing out the man he just knocked out and enraged that they attempted to kill him. When Thug asks Charlie if he knew about it, Charlie's silence reveals that he was aware of Thug's condition before speaking with Dr. Gruber and approved it. Thug orders Charlie to open the safe. When Kyle refuses, Thug shoots him in the leg to force him to cooperate. Charlie opens the safe, and Thug instructs him to stuff the bag inside with money and weaponry. Thug, who is more disappointed than angry, informs Charlie that he came to his office that night to ask for a favor after 30 years of faithful work, and Charlie was going to dismiss him like a piece of shit on a shoe. Thug points a gun at Charlie's head. Charlie accepts his fate and asks Thug not to kill his son. Thug orders Charlie to sit down and then shoots him once in the chest, killing him. Thug exits, sparing Kyle as a final favor to his former boss. Thug then meets with his attorney and close friend. He gives the lawyer a portion of the money and directs him to purchase a home for Daisy and provide her with financial assistance in the coming years. Not only that, but Thug wants Daisy never know the money came from him. Thug then heads to Anna's house. Thug comes and finds Anna comatose in the bathroom due to an illicit drug overdose. Thug moves quickly, reviving her and putting her to bed. At that time, he apologizes, knowing that this is most likely their last meeting. Thug leaves her some money as a token of his gratitude for their time together before departing. Anna, still dazed, remains silent. Thug then visits Alex's brothel to redeem the curly-haired woman. Thug arrives, hands over $30,000, and urges the woman to accompany him. However, Alex refuses, leaving Thug perplexed, especially since his offer well exceeds the normal $10,000 ransom. Alex calmly states that the issue is not money. Alex takes Thug to the woman's chamber and informs him that she has died. Alex confesses, guilt-free, that her death was caused by an overly rough customer. Thug, filled with rage, points his gun at Alex and demands that all of the women in the brothel be released immediately or he would kill him. One of Alex's men tries to intervene, but Thug threatens to shoot if he comes too close. Alex, noticing the increasing tension, orders his troops to leave the room. Thug then calls out for all of the women in the brothel, informing them that they are now free. Slowly, one by one, the ladies Alex has trafficked apart. As the last woman prepares to leave, Thug learns that one of Alex's guys intends to shoot him. Thug reacted fast, turning and shooting the man first. In the middle of the chaos, Alex seizes the opportunity to attack Thug, stabbing him multiple times and leaving him critically injured. Just as Alex was about to finish him off, a gunshot went off. Apparently, the last woman picked up a gun and shot Alex, saving Thug. Despite his severe injuries, Thug encourages the woman to escape immediately before more of Alex's men arrive. She agrees and departs the brothel. 30 minutes later, Thug returns to his rented room, barely alive. Thug sits calmly in his room, thinking on his life, aware that the end is near. Despite the pain and probable death, he feels glad and fulfilled since he has done something good in his final moments. Thug ultimately breathes his last, bringing the film to a conclusion. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.